Welcome back to Spank Ranch Garage. It's time to get rid of the tiger cage on the back of my truck. This will actually be a little bittersweet. This cage provides me an insane amount of room and a lack of caring about strapping things. I just fill this truck up, slam the gates closed, and call it a day. However, I'm to the point now where I need gooseneck capability, and I also need more truck side storage. We're pretty packed on this box. All the other boxes are full, and a substantial portion of my tools now spill into the interior. So let's fix that. Somebody actually did a pretty nice job of building this cage and these gates. I bought this truck out of Idaho back in 2020 or 2021 maybe. And it came with these, and I wasn't sold on it until I started using it, and I was like, damn, this is nice. I always hated how it looked, and the proposed fuel economy that probably isn't so great, but man, is it useful. So I will definitely miss this cage. There's going to be some. It's definitely bittersweet. I feel like this truck and myself are known for these sides. Oh, great time to run out of oxygen. That is cool. Well, it's pouring rain and I got to get the rest of this off with a grinder, so I'll leave you guys in here and I'll just be out there being pissed off. Alright, sides are off. To me, this looks so weird because I've been seeing this truck with these sides every day. So let's talk a little bit about this bed and some of its shortcomings. First shortcoming being it is 101 inches long. However, the way they had the gate set up before, the gate was coming across here. It wasn't a true 8 foot, so you couldn't actually buy 8-foot pieces of plywood and close the gate, which is ridiculous. Have an 8-foot bed truck, you can't close the gate with 8-foot stuff in there. So I am going to build a new gate that's going to actually run this shape out here, so we maximize every piece of this bed, because before, this whole section here was just waste. It was just a shelf to sit stuff on, but you couldn't actually put anything on there. Now width-wise, this is also not really a full-size bed. It's only 91 inches wide. I believe this is an old Bradford is who manufactured this bed. I really appreciate the headache rack. I appreciate the side boxes. I put these on here. But I just wish they made this bed full width. Like, I don't need these fancy fenders here and the step rail. I can use every inch I can get. So really, you know, if I were to spec this bed out, I probably would have went with a 9-foot bed that's a true 104 inches wide or whatever. Push the limits. We got a dually here. Let's use all that width. Maybe not that, but at least 96 inches wide, I would prefer. All right, for the new bed sides, we're going Chinese. I was either gonna build tube railings on here that are the height of this box. So I still want some containment to the bed, but I want to be able to run the gooseneck as well. And Beaver's got these cheap ass toolboxes. They are cheap. I know this is gonna be kind of a piece of crap, so I do expect to have to put hinges on it, latches, probably gaskets. But the price was unbelievable. And the size is just about what I'm looking for. So we'll make something happen here. Pretty much just have to work in the rain every day these days. It sucks. I don't remember it raining this much. I think the cloud seeding's going a little too far. But I guess the rain is good for some folks. As for me, it's like I don't have time to wait for the rain to stop. Here's one of these Vevor boxes. It's aluminum. It's fairly light duty, but it is a top loader, which will be nice for dropping power tools in, like all my Milwaukee stuff and my carpentry stuff. I got the front loading boxes here, which have pull-out drawers for like hand tools and stuff like that. So I think this will actually work pretty good. Still allows me access to this rear tie-down point, and then my tailgate will actually start here and run around. It's nice and low. I think you could get this pretty twisted up with a gooseneck on it and not actually damage this box. It's aluminum, so I'm going to bolt it to the bed as opposed to welding it like these were. So this gives the bed, you know, a space here, and then when this becomes fully enclosed with tailgate, I'll at least be able to throw transmissions and tires and whatever in here, and I won't need to strap it. Now obviously dirt bikes, taller things, will still need to strap, but I can't be as carefree as my last setup, but I can still be pretty carefree. Right, in this configuration, I'll still have a 66-inch wide bed with no interruptions, and then it'll be that full, I don't know, what did I say, 104 inches long here. 102, 101 inches long, so 66 by 101. Plus a little bit of space afforded over here in these corners. It's more bed space than your factory truck with fender wells in it and all that stuff. And then on top of that, we've got now 8 storage boxes on the bed, 4 in the skirting, 4 on top. So it should be a pretty substantial amount of tool storage and ultimately keep the crap out of the interior. All right, it's a couple weeks later on this project. I had to borrow Henderson Equipment's gooseneck and run the dozer down to the property. So had to cut them sides off in a hurry in the rain, and the rust shows. That's all right, we'll get her painted up, get her looking good again. Something like that. Now the other challenge is, these were steel, so they're just welded to the bed. The aluminum will have to be bolted, but even my side compartments have a false ceiling in them. And then it's got a full wheel well in it. So actually accessing the bottom of the top of the deck is very challenging. So I may do a little fancy pants where I weld a nut to a washer and then flip it upside down and weld the washer to the deck, and that way I bolt right into it. Whipped up these little turds real quick. It's just tack welded washers to nuts, and we'll drill a hole in the flatbed. Drop these down, that way I've got threaded inserts to work with. boxes are bolted down, lined up and good. So I'm gonna call it a night there. Got something else I gotta work on. We'll be back to get a tailgate on this thing. All right, so I'm just filling these boxes up. This is most of my carpentry stuff and Milwaukee tools. And then over here will be kind of the same thing, Milwaukee tools, extra grease, sledgehammer, whatever. I got a lot more to put in here. But that's the goal, is to keep all that crap out of the interior. I gotta clean up the rest of this. And maybe someday I'll have back seats again. Going to start building the tailgate. So this is gonna be a fixed welded section here. It's just gonna encapsulate this side of the bed. And then that's gonna leave me a vertical hinge post here to build my gates on. I like to build all my crap out of 1.5 inch tubing because it's what I use for the race cars, so I usually have it laying around. It's what my bender fits as well, but I recently come across these tight radius bends, which are really nice. Come from some company called like Wagner Steel or something like that. They're cheap, like $3 each. It's actually a formed piece of steel, so it's got a seam in it here, so you wouldn't really use this for structural stuff like roll cages, but pretty much anything else, it's good to go. So if you were to bend this on a bender, your radius would be so large you couldn't really do this. So using these will give me a pretty nice result. Saves me a little bending and allows me to do things I couldn't do before. So if anybody else needs these, let me know. I can get you in touch with that company. Got the second one done. My buddy Jesse was like, you should TIG this, it's great practice. And I was like, screw that. But then I was like, you know what, this is good practice. So TIG this one up, it'll be a hell of a lot less grinding, plus I get my practice in. Came out good. We'll get this welded on the other side. It's symmetrical to this one. And then well, it's already 10 o'clock at night and I gotta be in work early tomorrow, so maybe I'll see you guys in like 10 weeks. Well, I didn't get to finish my tailgate before the next trip, so you know, this is what I'm trying to eliminate, is all this strapping and crapping here. But this is what a typical weekend load looks like for us. Just tools, containers, things like that. Having a gate that's this high and comes around here will eliminate a lot of the BS of running straps everywhere to hold things in. So the point of externally mounting these hinges is so this gate can come all the way closed, follow the rear of the tailgate, but then swing 180 degrees all the way open out of my way. Or if I'm doing something else, it's just a matter of lifting the gate off. Now, will it bounce off on the road? I may have to find a way to retain it, but for now, the old gates were like this and I never lost one of those. That's the thought, ladies. That's what I want to see. So now the fun part, making exactly the same piece for the top. I have all my measurements though, it should go pretty smooth. We weld that on. Everything's nice and square and parallel, swings really nice. So now we just got to duplicate this exact thing on the other side, which is going to kind of suck, but we'll get her done. And then I'm thinking one vertical between here, and then if I find it necessary later, metal mesh, but I'd like to leave it open for that potential fuel economy at this point. All right, we'll wrap up tonight there. So the gates come together nice. I made this vertical line up with the vertical that's on the flatbed there. I think that's probably the best place for it. So they'll need final welding and a way to latch them. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that yet, if they're going to drop pins into the bed or something else. I don't know. But that is the overall intent there. I think it's pretty slick. Once it's painted black, I think it'll look, you know, not too ridiculous, and it's all gooseneck compatible. So, you know, this to me is the vision that I had in my head of the way to store the most amount of tools in the body of the truck and the boxes on top, but still be able to tow a gooseneck and be able to fill this with tons of crap. So it's all kind of shaken out the way I wanted to. Just taking time because I get to work on this thing like 3 hours a month, I feel like, and then it's raining or I'm going on a trip or whatever, so we never get anything done. Anyway, it was a full 22-foot stick of 1.5 by 1.5 by 0.95 wall. So it's not quite roll cage tubing, it's a little thinner than that, a little lighter, but it'll still be plenty tough for the job I have it doing here. But I have a 22-foot stick. I got a 24-inch section left. I got a bend that I screwed up and then a bunch of little nibs. So I think a stick is like 112 bucks right now at my local distributor. So you got 112 bucks plus the hinges into this rear gate, not bad. Obviously my time is the more valuable part here. And then these Vevor boxes were cheap too. They were like 120 each. So we're looking at probably sub $500 for this whole flatbed retrofit here, and I'll be really happy with that. One thing I'm pretty proud of is look at how nice this tubing follows the body line of the bed. I haven't built roll cages in a while, but I learned how to bend and how to be consistent in building roll cages, and it's really nice here. We are maximizing every inch of this bed space with this tailgate following that tapered body line on the back. All right, so just welded on these pieces of 1/4-inch angle to work kind of as a closed register. That way it hits the bed, bottoms out. Also, it works as a spacer so the gate bottoms out on the bed, because inevitably I'm going to have 12 footers in here or longer. They're going to be resting on the gate, and putting all that stress on the hinges would be no good. So this way, you know, they close, nice solid closing. You could strap things to them from the inside. It won't pull the gates in, and then this angle iron will prevent the gate from sagging and coming apart. So we're pretty much there. We just need to find a way to latch it closed and get it painted. I have a thought. I turned some bushings on the lathe, and I have this, like, it's probably 3/4 pin. But anyway, something like this will keep that gate closed. I'll throw a safety pin on the bottom, maybe a handle or something on the top. That way these can be closed independently or opened independently, which is nice. The old design tabbed them together and with one lock pin. Sometimes when I'm lifting heavy things, I like to get them started on this and then slide it up, and this kind of still might be in the way, but it's just metal. I can cut it off if it sucks, so I guess it's worth giving it a try. Alright guys, I think we got it. Came up with these little T-pins here. If you know what I used for a handle, post it in the comments below. Anyway, I'm just literally making crap out of crap. Pins drop in. Safety clip goes on the bottom. Pretty much retains this whole thing. Really can't go anywhere even if it wanted to. As for like cumbersomeness, yeah, you know, it's a little bit of work to get the gate open, but it adds so much rigidity and safety to this. I think it's probably okay. All right, first trip with the new gates. I did blast just some black spray paint on them really quick before we headed down, just to keep the rust off. But anyway, no straps, everything stayed in. We didn't lose anything. Do you know? What are you doing? I don't know, I'm kind of growing to like this setup here. It works really well. So maybe we just leave it. No rattles, no weirdness. I don't know. I don't know if I love how it looks. I think it looks a little tacky, but this whole truck looks a little tacky, so. It's nice to have my 8-foot bed back and not have to have crap sticking out like this. 10 sheets of plywood, no problem. The other thing that's cool and very intentional is the way I mounted these hinges. These come all the way around, yet don't hit the box. So when it's time to work on the back of the truck here, like I'm doing a lot, these things pretty much just swing out and out of your way. Real nice, like, so you get the whole access to the rear here. If you want to take the gates off, you just pop the pins up, you can throw them in the back. Maybe even strap them open if you had to, if you were just taking a short run or whatever. But that would be a little weird because they're kind of wide. The other thing, so far so good on these Viver boxes. No water intrusion yet. They don't have gaskets, or if they do, it's real thin, but the lip here seems to work good. I haven't driven in any torrential rain yet, but it's been out in plenty of storms. I got no water in any of the boxes, so that's cool. But yeah, I'm sure we'll evolve this eventually. I need to finish, you know, cutting off the rest of the cage and painting it, and it's all gross looking, but so I'll do a proper tour at some point. But this is my main box here for mechanical stuff, torches, sockets, you know, wiring drawer, whatever. Chemicals down there, brake clean, carb clean, coolant. This is kind of junk, just drawbars, blocks of wood for shimming stuff, tire repair kit. A lot of Milwaukee stuff in here, grease gun, circular saw, a bunch of carpentry crap. This corner's all chains, wheel chocks, bottle jacks, more Milwaukee stuff, kind of on the fab side, Sawzall, grinder, crap like that. My chainsaw stays with me all the time, air compressor, an axe, big pipe wrenches, some spare parts, some material, and then all my straps are down here. So it's a lot of crap in a little area, plus I still have this 5-foot by 8-foot bed here to load all my junk into. All right guys, it's been a couple weeks since I built this, and I'm really happy with it. It has done everything I needed and nothing more. It looks all right. I don't know exactly how many miles per gallon I picked up with this style versus the big cage that was on here, but my last trip without a trailer, it did 17.2 on the entire trip, and that's over 800 miles. When typically I think my best tank was probably mid-16s, so there's a little bit of fuel economy to be gained. Otherwise, I love this thing. It just works great. I think it looks fine. I'm still thinking about these pins here, and I think I have an idea. I think I'm going to ditch the safety pins, put a spring under here with a washer, and that way these things, you know, they just pop up. You swing them, close it, and they lock right back up. And that way you don't have to pull the pin out, sit it somewhere while you're working, and then find it, put it back together. But other than that, really, that's the only thing I would improve on. Plus, I'm going to paint it again. I just hit it with some spray paint, and that's already coming apart. But All in all, not a fun project. I really didn't want to do this. Everything I need for almost every job that I do is now on my truck. There's nothing in the interior. I'm sure I'll change things in the future, but for now, this is really great. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Thanks for watching Spank Ranch Garage, and I'll see you next time.